everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by. This is October's video. Now I know I'm late, it should be at the end of October, very beginning of November, but I've had another manic month as per usual. It's just the way that things are going at the moment with having a barn that's not completely complete. Lots of people coming in, so it's just completely manic. It's just been it's, you know, with my mum visiting, and well, Mark went home, then my mum came and visited for a week, and then she went home, and then my dad came the next day, and my dad is still here at the moment. He's going to be here, I think he goes after my birthday, after the 8th of December. So he's outside fixing fences and putting up some new pastures, fences and things like that, and I'll explain all at the end of this video if anyone is remotely interested in what has been going on this month. And I totally appreciate and understand that if you are only here for the cross stitch, I will make sure that all of the cross stitch is at the beginning of this video so that you can just switch off and go back to your life. So with that being said, as you can appreciate, it's been pretty busy here. The air conditioning is on in my bedroom because it's too loud to have it on in the living room, but it's cold at night, so you need the heating, and then the air conditioning is needed in the day because it just gets up so warm. It's so bizarre to me that we need in one day heating and air conditioning, but that's just Georgia for you. So I have some exciting news. I have bought a pattern that I've really wanted for a very long time. I don't know what's going on with the light. It's making me look like I'm dead. I know that we haven't had a huge amount of, well, I haven't been out in the sun a huge amount because generally being out doing, other things, massage and sorting the barn out and being at the stock market. But I do look a little bit whitewashed. This is my summer glow disappeared. So, oh, honestly. Anyway, so I'm going to start with, what should I start with? I'm going to start with haul. And then I am going to go on to what I've worked on. And I don't even know what to do about plans, because I say to you, I'm going to do X, Y, Z, and then something just flew into me then. And it never pans out like that. It just never does. So I am just going to leave it open. And what I come back with next month is what I come back with next month. So we will see. Right. So the pattern that I've been after for a long time, and the pattern itself isn't expensive, but because I want to do all of the called for threads, which are the Orvera Soie, it makes this pattern an extremely expensive pattern. So that is, and I tell you what, it's actually beautiful. The Elizabeth Weston, there we are, thank you. The Elizabeth Weston sampler. So I think this is Hands Across the Seas, is it? Yeah, Hands Across the Seas. It's absolutely beautiful. And it, as you can see, it kind of calls for a slightly pinky fabric. So I have decided to do this one on 32 counts, 2/2, and I have ordered, and this is why it's been expensive as well, because I ordered my fabric and I ordered Tudor Rose by Pole Stitch Designs. I'm not going to get it all out, but this is the fabric that I've ordered, and it's huge. There is, I mean, it kind of folds out and then folds out again and then folds out again, and I think this will be absolutely beautiful for this design. It smells beautiful. I don't know what she's washed this in, but it smells absolutely lovely. But this is a 32 count. Now I know that I was originally going to order 36 count because realistically I wanted something like 36 count. But I know that when you are dyeing fabric, the dyeing process and the heating process, it kind of makes the holes a bit smaller. So I may actually end up with a 36 count pretty much, and I think that will be fine. So I have used, I haven't started this one yet, but with this one, I am going to use the Aversoir, like I said, and these are, so this is some of them. I'm having to order them bit by bit. So I've got basically everything for the outside at the moment. So everything for the band around the outside, the border basically, are the colours that I have. I haven't bought any more colours. Now, I know that sounds a little bit random when because I order mine from 123 Stitch. You know, you get charged shipping as well, don't you? So it's kind of a bit of an oxymoron saying that I want to save, or I want to try and, you know, not spend so much money, but then I'm paying shipping on every single Aversoir that I order. But, you know, these are like $5 a go. And with some, I think this is the Legend. Is this the Legend? This is a Legend. How beautiful is this? But as you can see, you need, I don't know if it tells you on that, how many, no it doesn't. So it gives you the Legend for Aversoir, DMC, an MPI. However, if you have a look at the back of this one, it tells you how many skeins you need. So like you've got 3, 1, was that 1, 4, is that 2? So yeah, I mean, you actually need quite a lot of skeins for this. And, you know, just for one colour, for example, 525, you need 4 of them. That's $20 just for one colour. So I've had to kind of sort of chill a little bit with regards to the threads, and I'm getting them, I'm doing the border, I'm getting them kind of slowly, but that's the only way I can really do it right now. So that's what I've decided to do, and I'll pop that back in after. I'll stick that in there as well. I'm actually going to put my fabric into that bag just because I don't want it to get ruined. So bear with 1 second. I don't want anything landing on it, or anyone putting tea on it or anything, or anything spilling on it, because I think the fabric cost me like £130, which included the shipping, but because it comes from England, the shipping's quite a lot of money right now, and all the tariffs and everything. So that's the first one that I bought. That's my first haul, and I'm not too sure if I told you about this one. I think I told you about this one last month. I'm really excited about doing this. It's one that I've wanted for a while, and I'm just going to grab out the front bit. So this one is Halloween Quaker, and I got the cord 4 fabric, which is murky, and I think I got a 32 count on this. I tend to do my samplers on a 32 count. I did do the Long Dog sampler on 28, I think, because I wanted a bigger sampler. But yeah, I like seeing like slightly smaller crosses, which is the reason why I went for 32 count for this one. So I've got this one to show you, which I will in a bit, but the threads arrived, and these are all the called for threads. They are beautiful. I'm not sure if they had arrived last time. I don't think they did, but these are all classic Colourworks. So very Halloween-y colours, purples, greens, oranges, reds, lovely, golds, and they're really lovely to work with as well. So I think as I'm kind of on this one anyway, I'm going to show you it. Ugh. I'm not too sure where I was, whether I told you, whether did I start this one last month? I can't even remember what I did last week, let alone last month. So I'm just going to go with, maybe I did, maybe I didn't. And quite frankly, it doesn't really matter, because this is where I am now. So I have started this bit here, and I really wanted some colour, so I went in for the witch's hat, which is lovely. And then this is the moon, And this is the start of the witch's broom. And as you can tell, that thread is variegated. So that was one cross at a time. But this is the fabric. And I asked 123 Stitch, because you can put like special kind of stipulations or special requests on your order. And I asked them, please, if they send me a murky, can they make it so that there's not too much black everywhere and that it's a little bit more of an even spread of, you know, fabric colour. And I think they did a pretty good job. I think that's quite a nice piece of fabric, that. So I'm happy about that. So I did about 150 stitches on that. Now, I don't know 100% how many stitches I did on it because it's not in Pattern Keeper. So it's difficult to say, so I'm just kind of roughly guesstimating that it's about 150 stitches on that one. But yeah, so that one is coming along nicely. I'm enjoying stitching on that one. The next one I'm going to show you is an FO, but it's not the one that you're thinking, I don't think. This is the one, this is a bit ridiculous, really, Holly. The only one that I managed to finish is like a tiny project. I'm going to take it out of here because I know it's crinkly, but it's just really shiny as well. So this is one that I've been doing as a cell with the Monogamous Stitcher Tan. So we've been doing this one as a cell. I think she's done all three now because she's just Superwoman. So, but I did manage to get this one done. Now, again, I don't know how many I needed to complete. I don't know how many stitches I did, but I did complete. So I'm going to do like a before and after because I was working on this one last month as well. But here we are. So there we are. We are all done, all complete. My first one. So that's very pretty. Very, very pretty. And this is stitched on 28 count, I believe. Called for, which is 28 count. 2/2 full CXC. I normally stitch, unless there is a project that specifically calls for a specific thread or skein, I will always stitch with CXC, as people know anyway. I just prefer it. So that is that one. And the next one I worked on is one I haven't had out for a while, but I tell you what, oh my goodness. I think I spent most of my time that I did have stitching on this project, and I haven't achieved a huge amount. I did 700 stitches. However, I really enjoyed working on this one. I loved it. So this one is called About Time. It's a Heaven and Earth design. And the artwork is by Ciro Marchetti. So here we are. And I am bloody loving this. I just absolutely love it. It's, oh my God. I don't know what it is about this. I think maybe it's because there is a little bit of block colour, there is a little bit of confetti, but it, you know, you're able to mix it up a bit. And it's just been an absolute delight. And it is on one of the embroidery frames. I do have some part threads and bits and bobs. I'm just trying to sort those out now, but it's absolutely lovely. It's been a delight. So this is, I'm going to do like a before and after. And what's going on with my chest, please? I think the sun's out to play. Okay, that's better. So this is where we saw it last time, and this is where we are now. So I mainly worked in this area here. Let me just see that. Okay, there we are. And I also, I don't know if you can see in this area, I also was filling in all the blanks in here, and I'm moving across. And that's primarily what I wanted to do. But then I got really excited and I was like, I just want to get some more colour other than, you know, the green. So I started working in the purple. And I think I just kept on going. I think I was just going for gold, really, going to get to sort of the other end, which is over here. So yeah, just love that one. And I don't even know, if this is one that I want to work on this month. I think it may well be. Now, I do know that I have some others that I need to finish, but I think I also need to kind of stitch what I want to stitch on as well. Like, that's not happening. Let's just stitch there. Because I feel like if I'm stitching on something that I really want to work on, I'm going to end up getting more done. Now, I haven't really got any projects that I don't want to work on. I've just got a few that have been kicking around for a while and I'm almost at an end, like Peacock Love. I think I promised that I would get that one out this month and it didn't come out purely because I'm now a full barn, okay, and it takes me like 3.5 hours to do the horses. Now that's with like, I've got to feed the horses that I've got in the barn because I've got some in at the moment, some out. Until we've got the other fields built, we are kind of like topsy-turvying the fields. So I've got some that go in out in the day, then come in at night, and the ones that are in at night go out in the day, and vice versa. So, I'm feeding the ones in, and then there's a horse that I need to get from the top that is out at night, and then I bring him in and I feed him. So I muck him out first, then I bring him in, then I feed him, and then I muck out all the other horses, and then I get them in from the field. Then the other ones can go out, then they can get mucked out. Meanwhile, I still have to feed the other 2 pasture boarders and mine, and then the other horse that's in with mine. And it takes probably a good 3.5 hours. So where I was like on the yard at 6 o'clock in the morning, when I have got to go to the stock market Wednesdays and Thursdays, I am now on the yard at like 5:30. And I'm on the yard at 5:30, and then I do the yard, and then I drop off George. That's if Dad hasn't dropped him off beforehand, because he is a nightmare in the feed room. And so then he'll drop off George, so it just saves me a job to do, on the way to work. Then I'll go to work, do a whole day's work at work. Bearing in mind, I'm kind of getting jumped on because I'm only there 2 days a week. So everything that is like an emergency and needs to be done is kind of like thrown at me as soon as I get in. So I feel like totally overwhelmed for the whole sort of 5 hours I'm there, 6 hours I'm there. I think I'm there for 6 hours. And then I come home, and then I've got to do the barn again. So then I've got to feed all the horses that are in. I've got to chuck them out, get all the horses that are out, bring them in, or probably do it that way, bring them in, feed them, and then, feed the others, and then chuck them out, and then feed these guys. And it doesn't sound like a lot, but I've got like 10, 11, 12, 14 horses. And if it's going to be cold at night, I've then got to put rugs on. So the ones that go out, because it's so nice in the day, I have to take all their rugs off, and then when I bring them in, the rugs all got to go on again, all the blankets. And, I'm not finishing the barn probably until about 7:30. And then I'm coming in and I'm cooking dinner. Ordinarily, I wouldn't bother cooking. Honestly, I'd be so exhausted, I'd go have a shower and go to bed. But because my dad's working here, and my dad needs to have 3 meals a day because he's just bloody fit and he eats properly and he eats well. So then I'm cooking dinner, and we're not eating till like 9 o'clock, and then we don't tend to watch something that we want to watch, really, like The Traitors that has been on. So I'd probably watch something crappy like Come Dine With Me whilst I'm cooking, and then we'd put The Traitors on and we'd watch that together whilst I'm eating. And I kid you not, as soon as I've eaten, I don't know what it is with me, my legs go up on the sofa, I get my cushion behind my bed, behind my head, I'm gone. I'm falling asleep on the sofa, and then like 10 o'clock, Dad's like waking me up going, Holly, you need to go to bed. So I'm just absolutely knackered, and I've just had no wants to do any cross stitch. I've got a fly in here, purely because I've been so tired. And I'm just drained, and I feel like I still have PTSD from that horse that escaped, all those 2 horses. Do you remember that I was chasing around my property trying to get back in, and I still don't sleep properly because I'm worrying about this and I'm worrying about that, and I'm not even getting a good night's sleep either. So it's all kind of you know, it's a togetherness that's making this not really work. But anyway, so I'll tell you in the second half of this what we've got going on and how we're going to sort of come to a conclusion and sort of sort that out and give me a little bit more time. So the next one I worked on was, you've seen this one before, bookshelf. And this is one that every single month I'm just going to do a colour completion. So this month I did colour 76, colour, oh, I don't know what it was, I can't remember, it was one of the pinks anyway. So it is a New Dream Stitch, and it's an Etsy, and it's this one kicking around, and I still am working on this one. And I think I did, you see this sort of pink in here? That is the colour pink. I'm so sorry about the state of my nails. I mean, when you work on a barn, it's just so difficult to keep them like not looking disgusting. So yeah, that was one. I think it was 76 stitches that I needed to colour complete, and I did 76 stitches, and then I fell asleep because that's just all I seem to be doing right now. So here we are. So it's mainly this book here, and I have completed the pink stitches and they're done. So we are very, very close. We are at 93.26%. And I think on the It's About Time I was at 1.30%, so nothing, but we are very, very close to a finish. Very, very close. So if I can do a colour completion on this every single month, then I think I've only got 4 colours left, then we should be completed. And there may be a month where I don't have, you know, I'm not so crazy and I can just, you know, chill out and do some stitching. But really, guys, I'm so sorry, that is all I've done this month. It's been, yeah, it's been crazy. So if the stitching is all you've come for, then thank you very much for tuning in. And I know it's 22 minutes and I'm so sorry. But that is everything for stitching. So I'm going to go on and talk about what has been going on. So finally, we've got all the paperwork done and dusted for me buying the 18 acres. We complete on the 12th of November. So that's great. And finally, that woman will be out of my life. And I have also bought a tractor. I've done it on the blob because, or on the drip, on the blob. I've done it on the drip. On the blob means something completely different in England, sorry. I've done it on the drip. And I've got 83, was it 83 or 87 months at interest-free? Completely interest-free. And it's a massive Kubota. Well, it's massive for me, with a 6-foot bush hog. And I'll see if I can put up a picture in here. And it looks amazing, and Dad was on it, not, you know, the other day, because for us to be able to do the fields, we had to cut them as well. So I'm finally going to be able to get on top of my property, which means that we can start making it look decent, and we can start getting the arena, the jump arena built, so that people can start jumping in the jump arena. Brilliant going into winter, but you know, our winters aren't as cold as they are at home, and they're certainly not as wet. What else has been going on? Oh, we had a lady leave. So, you know, people always say to me, I would never go into boarding again because people are just, you know, horse people. And if there's anyone out there, don't take offence to this, but you probably kind of know what I mean. They're either really, really nice or they're absolutely batshit crazy. And this is one of them, and it didn't matter what I did for her, it was never enough. Her horses didn't have enough hay nets. This horse was getting 6 hay nets a frickin' day, and I wasn't even charging her extra for a hay. Now, I know that I should have done, and, you know, I wish I had, because when she kept saying to me, oh, my horse, you know, eats a lot of hay, but if you want to sort of, you know, charge me extra hay, that's fine. And I was thinking, oh, you know, an extra hay net, you know, whatever. This horse was a bloody thoroughbred. I mean, they're not huge eaters, as we know, because, you know, they're tiny. They're not massive warm bloods or shires. So, you know, I was just like, oh, you know, it's fine, you know. Her horse was also having alfalfa cubes soaked, and I wasn't charging her for that. I was just, you know, we had it, so my mare has it, so I just said, like, you know, I'll just add some in for him. But yeah, so this one particular day, and this is someone who texts me all the time, like, have you done this? Have you done that? Can you just make sure that my horse isn't stood in his stable, like, without any hay? I'm like, love, your horse is getting 6 hay nets a day. There is never going to be a situation where your horse has not got any hay. And if it stood in the stable for 5 minutes without hay, then it's not going to die. I mean, she was just crazy. So anyway, one particular day, her horse came in from the field and had lost a shoe. And she sent me a text saying, Indy's lost a shoe. He needs to stay in until the farrier arrives. Okay, fine. Thinking that was like going to be the same day, because she didn't say anything any different. She didn't also then back that up later on saying, the farrier hasn't arrived yet, or he's not coming today. He can't come out until another time. Can you please make sure Indy's, you know, on stable rest until we can get the shoe back on? Nothing. Just nothing. So he went out that night, and then that was on Sunday night. He went out, and then Hallie does him in the morning. She's one of my boarders who's got 4 horses. She does the horses on Monday so I can get a day off, and I pay her and everything, obviously. So anyway, she was bringing the horse in, and my boarder had just arrived at the same time. I had my dad sat next to me, and she called me, and I would just put it on speaker because I always do. And she was like, why is my horse out? And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, why is my horse out? And I said, because he goes out at night. She's like, well, I texted you the other day and I told you that I didn't want my horse going out and blah, blah, blah. And she went nuts and like, no, he's lame and yeah. And she went off on me, like off on one. And I said to her, I didn't realise you didn't want him, that you wanted him boxed, you know, for the foreseeable, and that your farrier didn't turn up, because I wasn't here at the time. I wasn't on the yard at the time. It was my day off, so I was in. And Hallie was there. And, you know, when I have a day off, I do like to kind of come away from the barn, because I just need that break from being at the barn, you know. And she was like, well, now he's lame and yada, yada, yada. And I was like, I'm so sorry. I said, I didn't realise that you didn't want him out at all, and that your farrier didn't turn up, that, you know, you didn't give me any information about when he was coming, or that he wasn't coming that day specifically. And she went off one anyway, carried on, spouting her mouth off. And then she put the phone down on me. And then I got a text from her, literally 2 minutes later, saying, I don't think this is going to work. I'm moving my horse. This is my 30 days notice or whatever. And I was just like, oh, for God's sake. So I was just kind of, you know, when you're just kind of sat there in like disbelief. I just felt like I'd been hit by a truck. I was just like, Mum, Dad was like, are you okay? And I was like, I don't know. I said, I feel a bit shell-shocked, if I'm honest, because I didn't really deserve that, for one, and I kind of didn't expect it either. It just anyway, so I said, okay, well, I think, you know, I need to go out and talk to her at least. And she had a chiropractor there for a horse, and Dad followed me, and I kind of, Dad was doing the mats because we had some horses arriving, and I kind of said to him, like, I said to him, I feel so shit. I feel like I've totally let her down. I didn't know that she didn't want a horse going out. And this is a horse literally that goes out and stands in the same place in the field. He's not an idiot. He's out there on his own. He's got 2 horses to the left of him, and all they do is chat over the fence line. I mean, he doesn't do anything. He doesn't even move. There is no difference between him going out and being stuck in a stall, other than his mental health being a little bit better, if I'm honest, because he would have been the only horse, you know, in the stall at all. So, you know, my dad kind of like put his hands on my shoulders and kind of pulled me in for a hug. And anyway, I think the dad side of him then took over. And rightly or wrongly, he should not have got involved. But he went over to her and said, look, can I have a quick chat with you? And she was like, no, I'm okay. And he's like, no, I need to chat with you. And she's like, no, I'm 30 years old. I'm okay. And he said, okay, well, I was going to do this in private, but clearly you don't want that to happen, so I'll just say it in front of everyone. He said, I heard the way that you spoke to Holly on the phone, and it was completely inappropriate, and it was not acceptable. And I understand that there was a miscommunication and something wasn't done or whatever, and you're upset, but you cannot speak to people like that. It's just completely unprofessional. And she didn't deserve any of what you said to her. Neither did she deserve for you to just put the phone down on her. So anyway, he had his say, and then he walked away. And I was just like, I know that he shouldn't have said that, but I think there was an element of he knows how hard, we're working, and we're trying to, the fact that I've always done her favours and tried to help her out as much as I could. Whenever the farrier came, I was happy to sort of be there and hold her horse for her, even on my days off, and I never charged her because I just wanted to try and help her out, and she just lost it at me. Anyway, so then what's interesting, and I'd been warned by a couple of people, actually. 2 boarding facilities had warned me about her, but you think, oh, I'll be different and it'll be fine. Stupid. And I should really have done a bit more investigation. But I then find out that the yard that she's moving to, the new one, is her 5th this year. And she's all about my prince horse and this, that and the other. I mean, this horse must be so messed up in the head from all the times that it's been moved around. And also the non-negotiable for her moving to this yard is that she needed a full set of jumps, which I spent $3,000 on for her, and she used twice in the whole time that she was here. I mean, she made it sound like she was jumping every day because she's got competitions and this, that and the other. She totally put the blame on me for a horse being lame. I mean, the farrier came and put the shoe back on, and then the next day she's riding it. And I'm like, I never rode my horses after it had just been shod, because sometimes they can, you just trim them a little bit too short and just make them a little bit footsore. But this horse apparently was lame when it came in. So what the hell are you doing riding it then? I mean, it just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever. And so anyway, the next day I noticed that its leg had blown up. And she'd obviously poulticed it, put like some kind of clay poles on it and everything. And I kind of messaged her and said, look, it's quite a lot of inflammation and this, that and the other. So I just obviously told her what was going on, but she's very kind of, yeah, whatever, basically don't involve yourself in my horse, it's not your business, so whatever, I just stayed out of it. So that was on the Monday, and by the Saturday she'd gone. So it's all been a bit of a roller coaster, really, and it just made me feel like complete crap that I'd let her down, but the communication just wasn't there. So I bought in a board, and I've said to everyone that if you want anything done, like you need your horse left in or horse bought in because it's got the farrier or anything, put it on the board, because I get so many texts every single day I'm getting it from land agents, I'm getting it from the Kubota place where I bought my tractor, I'm getting it, from all my boarders. She's not the only boarder. I've got 10 boarders. I've got other people at the stock market messaging me. I've got, friends messaging me. My phone is non-stop. In fact, my dad ends up turning my phone off at 6 o'clock because he's like, you are done with work. There's no need to be on your phone till 8 o'clock at night. They can wait until tomorrow. So, he's like, you need to switch off at 6 o'clock. Oh, I think my dad's coming in. That needs to be it. But anyway, so, yeah, that's kind of basically been the month. So I don't know what I'm going to do for the rest of the month, and I think I'm just going to keep it a one big secret. But that basically is my video this month, guys, and I'm really sorry it was so sweet and short, but I will be back with next month, and I promise I will try and be here on time. But anyway, thanks guys, and I will catch you later.